Liverpool Football Club certainly aren't blustering. We talked last time about the fact that they were having a big summer, and it looks set to get even bigger. And I think what surprised a few people is that after the early splurge, if you like, that on mainly Foley and Wirtz, but not just him, the others as well, there was an expectation that Liverpool might have to balance the books a little bit more here, but it looks like they're going to go for the centre forward even before that, which and not just any centre forward, but one who's going to cost a lot. They've tried apparently for Alexander Isak, who's possibly the most expensive forward on the market. It looks like they might have to settle in inverted commas for another exciting player, Hugo Ekitike. I keep saying that differently, but still not a huge amount of change from £100 million euros. So has John Henry found some money down the back of the sofa? What's going on?
No, I mean, we're still in the same financial year, so whether they did, whether they recouped the money in 6 weeks' time or 6 days' time, the thesis remains the same. So I think they would have bided their time over the Ekitike and Isak interest, but like we saw in 2022, was it, when Tottenham made a move for Luis Diaz? Back end of that January window, Liverpool weren't going to go for him till the summer, and they jumped into it. So Spurs make a move for Ekitike, who's obviously been on Liverpool's radar.
Newcastle,
sorry, made a move for Ekitike, been on Liverpool's radar. And you have to stick or twist, and you kind of say, well, if you're signing Ekitike, you're effectively signing a player who's going to play in the same position. Now Eddie Howe plays one through the middle. Do those, are they both going to be on the pitch at the same time? I don't know. However, it opens up the conversation for one or the other. So if they sign Ekitike, fine, they'll take Isak off your hands, give you a lot of money to go and spend and strengthen the Champions League window. All right, if you don't want to part ways with Isak, guess what? We're just going to take Ekitike from you anyway. So, and now they've turned their attention to Johan Wisper and Newcastle. So shows they've kind of conceded on the face of it, I think, defeat in that particular race. But Liverpool can afford it because, we spoke about this time and time again about having strategy in place and being able to balance the books and having given themselves significant headroom when it comes to PSR, whereby, still from this position now, if they signed, £120 million player, so whether it's spending £80 million on Ekitike and another 40 on a central defender or another forward player, and they're still able to kind of lose 200 million plus in this current financial year and still be PSR compliant. So it speaks to the strength of the football club financially, because they have kept their powder dry, for want of a better phrase, I suppose, in recent summers. Last year, limited spend. Chiesa came in, but the actual Mamadashvili deal was actually one that belongs to this year's financial accounts because it was a deal which was ultimately included in it. But they've got themselves in this position through strategy. So it's a rare one, isn't it? Because whenever we've come to this, the criticism for so long around FSG has been risk averse, not spending at times when they should have. But when they won, we said this last time I was on, when they won the Premier League in 2020, coming out of that into that summer, into COVID, a lot of uncertainty, no one wants to spend a great deal of money. Market's a bit different. All depends who's on the market as well. So I think this week was more reactive than I think they probably would have wanted to get some players out before committing to new additions. Not because of failing to meet PSR obligations or anything like that. It's because there is a real tangible thing called cash, which has to change hands between football clubs, and Liverpool doesn't tend to carry much cash in the bank compared to the Premier League football clubs. So I think last year they had 7 or 8 million in the bank. What they do is cash for the business through money in, money out, and they have a credit facility of about 300 million with NatWest, I think. So that's largely how they lean on their. I wish my credit facility with NatWest was 300 million. That's how they finance their transfers, but I think they would like to start recouping some funds and get a bit more certainty about what's coming back. But I don't think that'll impact the Ekitike deal at all. I think once that's done, I think the focus will be on what happens with Darwin Núñez and others like Luis Diaz, Harvey Elliott, etc.
Yeah, okay. I take your point on PSR, but they've been had wiggle room for PSR for a while, but haven't necessarily spent the money. Is it success that's been allowed them to maybe be a little bit more outgoing? Do you think it's maybe the position of Michael Edwards and he's convincing sort of in his place? Is it the fact that I've seen a bit of talk about the stadium developments and stuff like that, and the fact that they're not building anything at the moment, and that might help free up a little bit of cash. Is it a combination of things that has allowed them to loosen the belt a little bit?
Maybe it's just a change of dynamic at the. Success. If in order for Liverpool to be a investment success for FSG, they need Liverpool to be a success on the pitch. So you have to invest in one thing to get the other. So it won't just increase in value if the team stinks. It might do a little bit, but they want to build something which is going to be part of what football looks like in the next 10, 15, 20 years, which would be this huge behemoth which just is all-encompassing, takes over every single corner of the globe. So, but there's also maybe a bit of change in dynamic around the decision-making policy. Now, I know Slot came in, and I don't think he's a yes man at all. I don't think Jurgen Klopp was a yes man, but I think Jurgen Klopp was far more. This still isn't Arne Slot's team. It's really, he probably feels like he has not really added much of his own parts to it. And you've got Michael Edwards back, who obviously not in Liverpool per se, part of FSG football, but then you've got Richard Hughes in. So maybe the decision-making process at this moment in time is about, this is a summer where they have the ability to spend big and maybe just take the hit on some of these things, because you look at the kind of profile of player they're signing, it's all about building what the next, so I imagine they'll probably sit out. Next summer's not going to be as explosive as this summer. It's hard to imagine.
Shame.
Yeah, this summer's going to be, this summer's fun. Yeah. Next summer might be a bit more dull. But, which is even why the Isak deal almost teeters on the brink of what FSG would want anyway, I think, because he's 25, be 26 later this year. But he's still a young man. But I think in terms of real long-term value, I think you've kind of got like one contract and an extension out of him, and that's kind of, then he's into his 30s, So I think this is all about forward planning.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.